At this point, I've finally seen every big Oscars contender for 2025. I saw Marty Supreme and Avatar 3 last week. Both reviews will be coming very soon, but I finally feel comfortable and vulnerable enough to be completely wrong about my personal Oscar predictions. Today, I want to hit on a couple of the bigger categories: Best Actress, Actor, Supporting Actress, Supporting Actor, Director, and Picture. A lot to get through. Let me know all of your picks in the comments down below, but let's get started. With Best Actress, if Jessie Buckley doesn't win, I think this is going to go down as like the biggest Oscar snub in history, and there have been a lot, obviously. Like, this is the #1 front runner. Even before I personally saw Hamnet, people were saying this, and then I saw the movie and I completely agree. Yeah, Jessie Buckley #1 is a given, and I don't think any of the competition is very close. Renee Rensiv from Sentimental Value is a really good second in terms of competing with third, fourth, and fifth, but again, Jessie Buckley just completely blows it out of the water, in my opinion. Amanda Seyfried in The Testament of Anne Lee has slowly moved up my ranks. The more I think about this movie and the more chatter it's gotten, I don't necessarily think this is going to get nominations across the board by any means, but I do think that Amanda Seyfried gives one of the best performances of the year. I think it's pretty much a lock for a nomination, but again, it's just not in the competition for first place. Emma Stone in Begonia is one of my favorite performances of the year, thus why she is here. Personally, I think she is better than Amanda Seyfried and Renee Rensiv in Sentimental Value, but I do think in terms of what other people think, she's definitely in the bottom 2 of the top 5. And then my kind of personal shoe-in is Jennifer Lawrence in Die My Love, because I love Die My Love so much. I think I like that movie so much more than other people that I had to put her in here, but I think some of the honorable mentions have a slightly higher chance of actually getting put in the category. Obviously, Cynthia Erivo in Wicked for Good. The reception for Wicked for Good hasn't really been that good, but Cynthia Erivo is, I feel like, has to get nominated because it's a part 2 and it's such a big movie. Chase Infinity in One Battle After Another, I think this is what people would put instead of my pick for Jennifer Lawrence, which arguably is a better performance. Like, Chase Infinity is, I think, more interesting in the project, but Jennifer Lawrence is just giving such like a physical performance that for me it kind of is better. Getting into Best Actor, this is where my list has changed drastically over the last week. Obviously, my review for Marty Supreme isn't out just yet. That and Avatar 3 will be coming very soon. For me personally, Marty Supreme is so good, and Timothée Chalamet is so good in that movie that he took the #1 spot for me. I do think Leo is going to win, but the fact that the battle is Leonardo DiCaprio versus Timothée Chalamet, this is going to be a race for the ages. On a baseline level, Leonardo DiCaprio's range is much better in One Battle After Another, but Timothée Chalamet is just delivering this like really exhilarating performance that is never really captured with any of the other actors on this list. So yeah, I'm going Timothy #1, Leo #2, and then for me, Michael B. Jordan is still #3 for Sinners. I don't know how many nominations across the board Sinners is gonna get, or what Warner Brothers is really going to push, because One Battle and Sinners are both Warner Brothers. So we'll see how the nominations get split between the two, but I think One Battle After Another will have a record, if not a close to record number of nominations. In fourth place for me is Jesse Plemons in Begonia. For me personally, you guys are gonna click off the video. For me personally, this is my second favorite performance of the year. Like, I think this is genuinely one of the best performances of the decade. I didn't get to review Begonia on the channel. Maybe I will closer to awards season if it gets a Best Picture nomination, which I don't really think it will. But Jesse Plemons is absolutely phenomenal. I think people would have Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent just above him. I think The Secret Agent isn't a phenomenal film. I've seen it, I've reviewed it, it's on the channel, but I think Wagner Moura is absolutely phenomenal. He's won awards already throughout awards season at different film festivals, and so I think he's a guaranteed nomination. Some honorable mentions though, which I really do think can make their way up. I don't think Jesse Plemons will get nominated for Begonia. That was a delusional REMP take. Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon has a really good shot. Sony Pictures Classics always has something sneaking into every category, and Ethan Hawke is absolutely phenomenal in that film. Even though I don't think the film is absolutely amazing, he's really good. George Clooney and Jake Kelly, which I saw recently, I think he's really interesting, but he's not doing something as interesting of on a character level. Like, he's just playing a movie star. Lee Byung-hun, I apologize if I'm pronouncing that correctly, for No Other Choice. This is just an honorable mention, even though I think he gives one of the best performances of the year, because I don't think the Oscars are going to give No Other Choice a shot. We go through this every time Park Chan-wook has a new film. I don't know what's going to happen. And then Jeremy Allen White and Springsteen could get a nomination, but like, every other performance is way stronger in my opinion, but it is a biopic, so you never know. It could get shoved in there. Okay, before we get into the supporting nominations, I want to clear out director because picture will take a long time at the end. If One Battle After Another is going to do what everyone thinks it's going to do, I think PTA is easily winning for One Battle After Another Best Director. Chloe Zhao in Hamnet is a close second. I think it depends if we get the supporting actor and the lead actress, all of those nominations, then I think director will come with that, but I just don't really know where Hamnet stands in the race of things in terms of like technical awards. I think the race really is between One Battle and Hamnet because Sinners, which is my third place, is also a Warner Brothers film. So I don't know where it's going to land. And then I think my fourth and fifth are kind of just thrown in there because I think they will be in picture as well. It was just an accident. Jafar Pahani, I think this film is absolutely amazing. It has slowly gone a little bit lower in my rankings as I've seen more films this year, but I still think it's a phenomenal film. And I think the direction is arguably stronger than Sinners and Hamnet. I don't know if that's a hot take, but it's really able to capture this very comedic but also serious film in a way that I don't think any other movie this year does, especially like hitting on that comedy side of things. And then obviously is Josh Safdie and Marty Supreme. It's so stylized and it feels like such an amalgamation of his other movies. And I think it would be really interesting if one Josh or Benny Safdie had gotten nominated after they split up, even though it feels like Marty Supreme is more like Good Time and Uncut Gems than The Smashing Machine is, or at least I guess it tries to emulate that more, but I'll talk more about that in my full review later. Some honorable mentions. I really want No Other Choice to get nominated. I really hope Park Chan-wook gets a director nom. I just don't know if it's going to happen. I think my top four are pretty much a lock. I think Marty Supreme is kind of where we go over or under. Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value. The only reason I didn't put this is because I'm just not that big on the film. And then Guillermo del Toro for Frankenstein. Because of how well crafted the film is, I think there's like a little bit of a shot. Same thing goes with Bugonia. Bugonia is not going to get nominated. Like that's why it's whatever, number 9 on my list. Getting it as supporting actress. This is where I have absolutely no clue what's going to happen. Tiana Taylor in One Battle After Another is only number 1 because she is so impactful in the minimal screen time she has. I think Ingela Ibsdottir Lielis, I definitely pronounced that wrong. In Sentimental Value, she is really amazing. Like for the runtime of the film, she's arguably better than Tiana Taylor. But I think Tiana Taylor just has that impact on screen, that presence that none of the other nominations have. I think Ariana Grande could get nominated for Wicked for Good. One actress I had no intention of having on this list, and I was completely surprised by the fact that I even gave her a 4th place, was Gwyneth Paltrow. She surprised the hell out of me in Marty Supreme. She's absolutely phenomenal. I think Odessa is good in the movie, but I think Gwyneth Paltrow just blows her out of the water. I think it's also her momentary interactions with Marty as a character and the impact of it and the way that she's able to perform. It's just so good. And then Elle Fanning in Sentimental Value. I think Sentimental Value could get 2 nominations in this category, and rightfully so. I know everyone wants a nomination for Amy Madigan in Weapons. I think she's really good, but I just don't know how Warner Brothers is going to nominate so many movies. Wunmi Makasu in Sinners and Emily Watson in Hamnet are also really, really good. I think everyone that loves Hamnet wants Emily Watson to be nominated. For Best Supporting Actor, you guys are going to actually fucking crucify me for this one. I think Jacob Elordi should win. I think he is arguably giving one of the best performances of the year in general, let alone like Best Supporting Actor. He is so good. No matter what you think of Frankenstein as a film, he's just giving this like depth of performance that I see from Paul Mescal in Hamnet and a little bit in Sean Penn, but like even the lower echelon of these supporting actor performances, they're not necessarily one note. Their characters just don't have that much to work with. Jacob Elordi has so much to work with, and he's capitalizing on it in my opinion. Paul Mescal in Hamnet is also really great. I just don't know if they're going Jesse Buckley and Paul Mescal. Like I don't know if that win-win is gonna happen. Sean Penn in One Battle After Another, I think it's a certified nomination. I don't think this guy's getting another Oscar though. Miles Clayton in Sinners is one I really want to see at least a nomination. I personally think it's a stronger performance than Sean Penn, but I just don't know if he's gonna win the Oscar. And then also Benicio del Toro in One Battle After Another. He's just so funny. He's doing the most simple things and making it very entertaining. I don't know if we're getting a double nomination. If it's one, I'd have to put my money on Sean Penn, obviously. Honorable mentions, obviously Stellan Skarsgård in Sentimental Value. I just don't know what we're taking out of the category to add him in there. And the same thing goes for Adam Sandler and Jay Kelly. He's good, but I think Jay Kelly is just such a regular movie. Like, I think it's a good movie and I enjoyed it, and I actually got emotional at the end of the film. I think it is a powerful movie, but the performances are just, they're just being Hollywood stars. To wrap it up, for Best Picture, instead of going top to bottom, I'm gonna go bottom to top. I do have a lot of honorable mentions, just in terms of like, obviously films I like, but I think could sneak their way into the top 10, depending on a lot of just the buzz, and then obviously other nominations going in line with technical nominations that I didn't go through in this video. The Secret Agent has won a lot of different awards. Jay Kelly, if it gets into the acting nominations, it could definitely sneak into the top 10. Blue Moon, if Ethan Hawke gets a nomination for Best Actor, this has got to be in there. He's really good in it, and so I think this has a chance of getting nominated. The Testament of An Lee, I don't think it's getting in for director. I really only think it could get in for Best Lead Actress, which I don't think is enough for it to get the Best Picture nomination. Wicked for Good, if I know anymore. Train Dreams actually didn't get great reception upon its release on Netflix, but when I saw it back at TIFF, people really loved it. So it was just recently that the tides kind of turned against this film, but I think it could get some nominations. Getting into the top 10 though, for me, Sentimental Value is at the bottom just because it's my least favorite movie out of all of them. In ninth place is Avatar Fire and Ash, just because it's Avatar Fire and Ash. Like when you don't know what else to put, and you kind of need a blockbuster to fill in the spot, you're calling Big J, you're calling Big Jim. This movie's gonna make a shit ton of money, hopefully, and I think it's a really good film in general. And so all of those things combined, it's a good pick for the blockbuster to be nominated. In eighth place is Bugonia. There's no way this movie gets nominated. I just love the movie so much. You guys are gonna hate me in my top 10 of the year video because I'm not gonna stop talking about Bugonia. Frankenstein for me also has a really good shot of getting nominated because of the technical awards. Personally, I think Netflix should make this their #1 front runner. Obviously, they're gonna go in for Jay Kelly, but I don't think that Jay Kelly just has that shot overall across the board. I think Frankenstein does. And then it was just an accident. The Oscars are racist, and that's okay, but I'm gonna be delusional and just say no other choice can get in a top 5. You know what I mean? It can get in. Hopefully I'm not. I will genuinely be so mad. This will be the last straw. This will be the last time I'm this delusional. Hopefully, maybe, probably not. We'll do the same shit next year. But Marty Supreme, I mean, there's 10 spots. I think he's #1 getting nominated. Depends on the like, the reception's been so good at like press screenings that I've been to, and then the premiere at NIF. Like, people love this movie. I think it's getting an actor and picture nomination. Hamnet, I think, is a lock because of how strong the performances are in association with the technical nominations I believe it'll be getting. And then comes the Warner Brothers films, Sinners and One Battle After Another. 2 simultaneous Warner Brothers campaigns for pretty much every single fucking category. I think that these two are a lock in almost every single category, and obviously that includes Best Picture as well. I do think One Battle will win. Even if Timothée Chalamet somehow takes home the Oscar for Best Lead Actor, which I don't really think he will, that's kind of my delusion, but I do think it is PTA Director, Leo Actor, and for Best Picture, obviously, One Battle After Another. But that wraps up my predictions. Let me know some of your nominations for the categories I talked about in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.